Hello again, and thank you for watching my video for the Kearns Leadership Award. This video is a brief summary of the direction I took when working with my group in order to complete this global factor analysis of the WWE. The first order of action was to gather articles that were relevant to our company for the steeple analysis. I assigned each member to come up with 9 articles at the least that had something to do with each of the steeple analysis factors. Each member was required to put a description of the article to make it easier to identify which article belonged to each factor, and that description also made it easier for us to figure out what article was about what. Each team member would then comment on the articles if they liked it or if there was any confusion from the article on why it went there. After this point, I created a Google document that made it easy for each teammate to access and edit at any time. I broke the spreadsheet down by the variables, and to further this, I broke it down by the steeple factor in which it corresponded to. Each variable was then assigned a probability of happening and the impact it would have if it were to happen. All probabilities and impacts were assigned a number from a 1 to 5 scale. For probability, a 1 meant that there was no way it was going to happen, while a 5 meant that it was absolutely going to happen. For the impact, it had the same scale, except a 1 meant that it would have little to no effect, and a 5 meant that it would have a huge effect. After this was complete, a total was created for each variable by adding the probability and the impact. The totals were a huge help in deciding what ultimately would make the final cut. I then thought it would be beneficial to my group if we broke down these variables into a top 10 list of the ones we thought were the most important. The variables we would pick would be from the Google document spreadsheet to make it so everyone was pulling the same variables from the same list. Each member would list their top 10 based on the totals from our spreadsheet and on what they thought was the most prevalent factors that ultimately affected WWE. Each variable would have an explanation on why they thought that variable deserved to be in the top 10 list. From here, we had a conversation on each other's top 10 list. Doing this made it a lot easier to figure out what variables my group members thought were important. If there was a variable in common on each list, then that made the final cut. When the final top 10 list was created, that was the content you were able to view in our video. Thank you for viewing this presentation, and I hope you have a better understanding of how I led my team to complete this task. Thank you again for the opportunity. It was a pleasure meeting you.